So recently I was watching this popular series on YouTube. You guys have probably seen it, and it's called Pop the Balloon. Basically a speed dating show. If they pop the balloon, that means that they did not find him attractive. Now, looking at some of these videos, there were actually like objectively handsome guys in there. You know, they were dressed well, beard was on point, they had a good facial harmony, they objectively looked decent. However, I still saw a lot of women rejecting them. Now, not only that, but in my own personal life, I've seen plenty of times to where a woman was commenting on my looks and she mentioned how I was too attractive or I was too good looking for her. And that led me to a question of myself as to why do some women reject handsome men or men that they find attractive? Because obviously, shouldn't we make ourselves more attractive or as attractive as possible? In some cases, it can actually backfire. That's why in today's video, I want to share with you guys some of the reasons why women may reject attractive men. And if you want to see how attractive you are to women, not only through a looks perspective, but also your money, your status, and just holistically your SMV, then check out my free SMV calculator. I'm gonna leave a link down below. This is where we're gonna calculate your score and also give you a roadmap of how you can improve. All right, so I'm gonna leave a link down below. All right, so the first reason is that they know that you're gonna take the attention away from them. Listen, you guys know women love attention. They want it everywhere, anytime. Doesn't matter if they're single, doesn't matter if they're in a relationship. So if they're with the guy who is objectively really handsome and you guys go out together and you're getting more attention from both men and women, how do you think she's gonna feel? Right? It's gonna spark insecurities. She's probably gonna be a little jealous. And I've seen this happen constantly in times of my own life. Now, me personally, I'm super tunnel vision, you know, and I know this is a problem that I personally have to where I actually don't notice people looking at me. Like, I'm just so focused either on my conversation or like where I'm walking, what I'm doing. But like the girl I'm with, she'll constantly commentate on how, oh, look who's looking at you, or that girl was just staring at you, or that waitress, her inflection in her voice was a little, you know, a little flirty. If that was happening to her, I wouldn't even call it out. One, I probably wouldn't even notice, but honestly, I wouldn't even call it out in the way she's doing it. Now, in some cases, this can actually be pretty good. It's called competition anxiety. This is where your woman knows that you're desired by other women and that makes her work harder. So in some cases, some women would rather be with a guy that just overall gets less attention than them so that they can personally always be in the spotlight. Now, reason number two is just simply from the fact that she's had bad experiences with other attractive men in her past. More so them pumping and dumping, right? So we all know that women tend to go higher upon the SMV scale, right? So a woman who's a 5, she's more than likely going to go after that 7 or that 8 or sometimes that 9, especially if they're giving her attention. But a lot of women don't realize until it's too late that, hey, the guy just wanted to use you for a fun time, a good time, and a short time. And so when this stuff gets repeated constantly, they start to associate really attractive men with just overall negative behaviors or just a bad dating strategy. Now, this is totally fine if a woman wants short-term dating, but if you have a woman who wants long-term dating and she keeps getting played over and over again, eventually you're gonna get a little jaded by a man's looks. And we can say the same even with some attractive women. I've seen constantly where guys talk about you don't wanna go after the 9 out of 10, the 10 out of 10, because they know the issues and the problems that come with having a more attractive woman. Now, also, they could have had a boyfriend who was a few points higher than them, or a boyfriend who was like really attractive in the past, an ex-boyfriend, and he also just constantly cheated on her. Like, we all know that most men, if they have the options to exercise their options, that a lot of men are going to take it, right? That's why it's rare to see young, really attractive men in monogamous committed relationships with no cheating whatsoever, right? The guys who say that they're capable of being in a monogamous relationship or want to be in a monogamous relationship and won't cheat, I found are usually either highly religious and or average to unattractive men who have no options to cheat even if they wanted to anyway. So if you're an attractive guy and you got all these women always coming to you, you're young, you know, you're 20 through like 25, 26 years old, it's going to be hard for you to maintain that sexual discipline in a lot of cases, especially if you're not used to getting a lot of that attention. And so even if you do have a girlfriend, that might cause a little bit of friction and problems within the relationship. And so once again, she now associates that attractive, handsome guy to, oh, he can't stay loyal. Oh, he's non-monogamous. So there's this Facebook group called Are We Dating the Same Guy? And I posted this on my Patreon, but recently I was posted within this group. And some of the comments underneath that post were, one, obviously, oh, he's too handsome for me, blah, 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 which kind of stemmed the idea of this video. But also, the woman commented, if you're seeking monogamy and loyalty from this man, run. Like something along the signs of that. And that pretty much confirmed to me that when a woman views you attractive, once again, they immediately associate the fact that you're not going to be loyal and or monogamous to them, usually from bad past experiences. So it's almost like a projection of what they feel attractive men are just overall not capable of being loyal. And in some cases, in a lot of cases, that is absolutely true. I'm not denying that whatsoever, but just know there are good stereotypes associated with your looks and also negative ones. Now, another reason why a woman may reject a handsome man is just from the fact they don't want to compete with other women. So we talked about how they know other women will likely be in the picture. Other women will show this man choosing signals or attention whenever he's out. And for that reason, that man has to exercise discipline, but also that woman now has to provide the reason as to why she's the best option. And usually they have to do that through competition, you know, really showcasing her value to that man. Now, I find this is really only an issue with lazy women, like women who won't provide value to you anyway, so it really doesn't matter. But a lot of women have that mindset to where they just don't want to compete. They don't want to prove as to why they're the best option. They don't want to bring value to your life. They just want to show up, look cute, you treat them like a princess, is what it is. That's my value. These are the types of girls that say, I am the table. And I think on the vice versa, they are used to men competing for them, right? That's why a lot of women tend to say that they like going after the medium ugly guys, because the medium ugly guys, which I believe are just the average looking guys, are usually the ones who are competing after them, you know, constantly texting them, constantly pursuing them, positioning them as the prize frame. So whenever that gets flipped, it kind of changes their perception of just overall dating dynamics and things that they're not used to. Imagine going from being pursued and chased all the time to you now having to pursue a man, to you having to actually show that man why you're valuable in his life. Like some women just simply can't deal with it or don't want to do it at all. Now, the last reason, guys, is just from the sole fact you are not her type. One thing you guys got to understand is just because you're attractive, it doesn't mean you're going to be everyone's type. And this is something that I personally had to learn too, because when you get validated from your looks a lot and often, you start to believe like everybody wants me, especially once you've been with like multiple races too, Asian, white, black, mixed, Hispanic. Like you go out and be like, everybody wants me, but that's not the case. There's something called an imprint. And I believe some women have phenotype or archetype imprints to where they're only or solely attracted to a certain type of guy. Type of guy in terms of his hair color, his race, his eye color, you know, all the aspects of this man. And in some cases, even if you're objectively attractive, she can view and appreciate that, but that doesn't mean that she wants to be romantically involved with you. I believe some exceptions though is from the fact that if you were to get to know her over time, or maybe if you guys were to meet through like a social circle or a place of interest to where she becomes familiar with you, then I believe that can override her phenotype imprint. But if you're meeting this girl like obviously on a dating app or through cold approach to where it's like attraction from the start, and in that case, you know, a woman can appreciate like, hey, this guy is handsome, but I don't want to be romantically involved with him whatsoever. And us guys can say the same, right? We're a little bit different to where we'll sleep with a woman who is objectively attractive, but the woman you guys will actually date long term, that's going to be more in line with your preference in women, right? But remember guys, rejection is a part of life. It doesn't matter if you're handsome, average, ugly, we're all going to get rejected and it's always going to happen. But I will say the more handsome you get, the less often it happens. And you have so many people that are interested in you. So the small minority of people who are not, it really doesn't even matter, bro. So focus on the woman who like you, and that's all is going to matter at the end of the day. Don't forget to check out my free SMV calculator if you want to see how attractive you are to women. Leave a link down below, and I'm gonna see you guys in the next video. Peace.